Hey, I just wanted to thank you. I wanted to thank you for listening, truly. This would not exist without the people that believe in this message. And so, if this episode was helpful, would you share it, like it, subscribe to the podcast? It tells the platforms that our content is worthy to be put in front of more people. So, it's not in an ego way, but it is in a way that we hope that this message crosses the paths of people that have never heard the message that you are so worth loving. And so, I hope that you walk into this week filled with a confidence in knowing that you're worthy of love. Your worth is not a contest, it's not a competition. And walk into whatever you face this week with confidence and knowing your value and your worth. Until next time. It's common to feel unworthy of love, but uncommon to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. We want you to know your worth so you remind others of theirs. I am your host, Erin Eddie Atkins, and this is the So Worth Loving podcast. Tega.
Hey, Erin.
How did we first meet?
This is a good question.
I
want to say it had something to do with church.
Probably. Maybe in like the family room or something.
Something like that. Everyone meets in the family room, but I feel like it's either church or some kind of speaking situation. Something.
You've modeled for So Worth Loving.
I did. That was about 3 years ago, which is crazy.
That was 2022.
Oh, wait. That's 3 years ago. I don't even know what year we're in now. Lord help us. I'm like 25. Yes, we are in 2025.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to know. I'm just going to dive in deep. We're just going to go.
I have my swim trunks on. I'm ready to go.
Swim trunks. What was Tega like as a little kid?
Oh man, she was dusty.
Oh.
But like not in the like, oh, help her type dusty. It was like she just got herself into some mess.
Oh, okay.
But also very talkative, which the Lord knew that's what I would be doing for a living. So I also was just the type to say what was on my mind. And I was fashionable and I loved people and I loved to laugh. I got in trouble for reading a lot.
Reading a lot? You got in trouble?
Oh,
what do you mean got in trouble?
I would finish my work early on purpose to grab a book, hide under a table, and just like read for hours.
Your homework?
Oh yeah. Homework, schoolwork, whatever it is. It got to the point where like my teachers were concerned because they're like, hey, she's literally just finishing her work early to go do other things. And so that was me as a kid, but also was very spunky. I was a very curious kid, which led into the dustiness of like, I just got myself into all kinds of situations.
Okay, so when you say dusty, I get a visual of like dust on like a shelf.
Yeah.
So is that what you mean?
No, I mean more so like, just imagine the kid who like just like dug holes and just like dug herself into situations.
Oh.
Because she was always all over the place.
Okay.
And so when I say like, oh, like, hey, don't go into that room, I'd figure out a way to get into that room.
Oh.
So I dug myself into some mess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And so that's
You're
what
curious.
I mean by dusty.
You're curious.
Yeah.
You just didn't know how to hone in the curiosity.
I didn't.
What was your home life like? Like, what was your household like?
So part of my story is my mom came to the States when she was about 7 months pregnant with me from Nigeria.
Wow.
And so she came to New York, went from New York to Atlanta around when I was 2 years old. And so a lot of the first 5-6 years of my life, it was just me and my mom. And so being raised by a single mother, there was which we can get into this in a little bit, but there was just a lot of things that happened in those formative years where I witnessed a mother who loved me well, but was not loved well. And so that was just those beginning years. And then you get to 5.5 or so, she marries my stepdad. And then I'm introduced to a man in the house, but also I had a father who was like very much out of my life and then in when he wanted to be. Also witnessed my mom have miscarriages, like all the things in life.
Yeah.
And all of these things formed me as a child. But also my mom always found a way for us to still have fun. Always found a way for us to still, I mean, me and Chuck E. Cheese were locked in. Oh, girl, kids went to Disney, I went to Chuck E. Cheese. And
you were best friends with Chucky.
Best friends with Chucky. And I had a lot of cousins growing up. And so I never felt like things were off or wrong because my mom and just like circumstances made it to where I still I had a great childhood. Looking back, I would say, yeah, there were a lot of things that went left, but there were a lot of right things. So that's childhood for me. What was your childhood like? I don't know if I know this.
Yeah, that's a good question.
my childhood was, my parents were from the north, but I grew up in North Georgia. So I mean, when I say north, I mean like Indiana and Ohio.
Yeah, like north.
Yes.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a typical like Southern Belle story of North Georgia.
Yeah.
And I grew up with like 16 acres. We had wolves.
Oh, so like true girl in the woods.
Yes. We had wolves. We didn't ever have chickens. Now my mom has a ton of chickens, just like 100.
I love that.
But we had we bred Great Danes, we bred Jack Russells. My parents, they manufactured furniture. So I always would joke that I smelled like sawdust growing up because I would ride in the back of my dad's pickup truck or the box truck.
Yeah.
With these furniture blankets that just smelled like sawdust. And I love the smell of that. It's so crazy now.
I love that.
Whenever I have that smell of furniture, I'm like,
yes. Smells fresh, new,
reminds me of my
inviting.
childhood.
Yeah.
But I had two sisters, still have them. I have two sisters. They're 6 and 8 years older than me. So like probably by the time I was in middle school, one of them was already in college.
Yeah.
And then one was on her way to college. So I feel like in my like formative years of where I have a lot of memories, it's mainly me and my parents growing up.
Yeah.
So do you have siblings?
Yes. So I have a little brother. He's my half brother, but we grew up together. So like.
How far apart are y'all?
11 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
a big
11
gap.
years older.
Oh.
Yeah. He was born literally when I had just started 6th grade.
Oh.
It's wild.
Wow.
But now that we're older, like that's my boy. Like that we're locked in. He's like a sophomore in high school. And so it's great because I speak to high schoolers. And so he's kind of my test subject plus like the person I learn alongside. So that's great. Cool.
So you were curious as a little girl, getting yourself into some trouble. What did you mean by that?
Yeah. I think that I am someone who I've learned, I always tend to learn from experience. And so I mean, one of my craziest stories is I think I was in 2nd or 3rd grade.
Okay.
And literally was at the bus stop with my babysitter and her daughter. And there was a guy on a motorcycle who was like, I can take you to school. What did I do? I went on the motorcycle. Absolutely. What else have I done? Literally.
Wait, did you get to school?
I got to school. But here's the thing. I look back and I was like, if I ever had a child like me, heart attacks.
Oh my God.
Whoa. Like.
You got on a random guy's motorcycle and went to school.
Like, and it's like things like that where like I didn't have the discernment to be like, oh, this is not right. Oh. And even as a kid, like I was a 3rd grader hanging out with like kids in middle school.
Yeah.
And they had bikes, I had bikes. They were like, come on, like let's go ride and whatnot. My mom always had a rule though, when the street lights are on, you're in the house.
Oh. That's a good
However,
rule.
there was one night where like the middle school kids were playing outside after dark and I wanted to go play. So I went on my bike. I was out till like, I think 9 p.m. Mind you, I'm like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And so I like get back home thinking everything's fine, get back to the house and there's police cars all outside because my mom thought I was lost. And so, here we are crying, screaming, yelling, and I just show up on my bike smiling. I got in so much trouble. I got the beat down of my life that day. But that is the type of stuff I mean by I'm like, I always got myself in some kind of mess.
Yeah.
And then I learned, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So
did that continue on in your teen years and into your early 20s?
I think
Or did you kind of like
I started to shift into becoming more of a performer.
Ooh, okay.
So after those years of realizing like, okay, acting out leads to X response. I don't want to act out in the negative way at this point, but I want to act out in a way that people see me and know me and want to love me.
Yeah.
And so that became like middle school years of like wanting to perform for people's affections, for their attentions, for them to see that I was like worth their time. Because from my formative years, I realized that like I dealt with a lot of abandonment, a lot of self-esteem issues, being a Black girl in an area where it was very diverse, but I was one of the few Black girls in a lot of rooms I stepped in. It led to all these narratives that I had for myself. And so,
how did that shape how you viewed yourself or your identity?
Oh, I think that I have always been the hardest critic of myself. I have always been one who constantly ran to and from things and people for someone to say, I love you. Like I see all human beings as once you're born as a container of sorts, right? Like God has created all of us as containers, and we are filled up with content, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah.
And so those formative years of being born and not necessarily hearing from like a father figure or just like from people in general, like, I love you, without anything attached to it, led me to start to seek out that love in other ways. And because I started to seek that love out in other ways, and I realized, oh, like, I got attention for being smart. I got attention for, you know, the clothes I wore or like how I acted.
Yeah.
It led to me constantly saying like, I need that. It was my fix at a point in time. And so, yeah, I don't know if that fully answers the question. But
No, it does. I totally identify with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was single, that's what I did because it seemed like it had a positive response.
Yes.
It seemed like me performing for love, dressing to be seen as attractive or sexy or whatever.
Yeah.
It made me feel like, oh, like if I get a positive response, then it must be a good thing.
Yes. And the thing is about that positive response is it feels good in that moment.
Yeah, it
like
does.
that instant gratification and receiving what you've been desperately looking for, so to speak, feels good in that moment, and then it wears off.
Yep.
And then
you search for it again.
And you search for it again. It's this constant cycle. And
so true.
I was reading Psalm 23, and there's a verse in particular where it says that the Lord makes right our paths. Like he leads us on the right path. And I learned about sheep, that sheep are actually creatures where they will take the same path over and over again, to the point where they will actually go in circles. And when they go in circles long enough, they fall into these things called depressions. And they make their own depressions by going on the same path over and over again, because they have they're not cognizant of the fact of like, I've been down this road before. They just go on it again. And so when they fall into these depressions, they can't get out unless the shepherd comes and helps them.
Oh, wow.
And I realized like, oh, that's why I feel like I've been in these same cycles, is that as a sheep, I've been in these, like I keep following these same patterns. Now I've fallen into my own depression. I can't get out.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I would say, like, if it was not for the Lord, I would still be in a lot of patterns. And like, we can get into the nastiness I was in prior to Jesus, and even in the beginning of following Jesus, when I thought I had to perform for him.
Yeah.
But
how did you, because you can articulate that now, but in the process of it, like how did you identify that you were even having patterns? Was there like a moment in which that you were like, oof, I feel like real icky about myself? Was that the disruptor? I mean, let's go there.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Ooh,
Okay.
I feel
let's
like,
do it. Do you need a sip of water?
Oh no, I'm
No,
good.
I'm kidding.
You're doing great. I'm ready to go. I would say that I didn't even realize I was in patterns until college.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
for me, I feel like was a really long time, but I knew that I was constantly in these, like, whether it was I was performing for guys to want me. And by performing for guys to want me, I mean like literally like I would stick my leg out for them to like be like, oh, like Tega's in the room. Like I would make myself known.
Yeah.
Or I was, you know, in these spaces where I would want teachers, or I just wanted someone to tell me that I was like worth it.
Yeah.
Like that I had value, that I was seen, I was known, I was loved. And so, yeah, I feel like it was watching, I mean, I talked to you about this before we even started recording, of like a lot of my past is I had about 10 to 12 years of addiction to pornography.
Wow.
Because I wasn't getting what I wanted from people.
Yeah.
And because I wasn't getting what I wanted from them, I, in some toxic way, thought that by watching these videos and by watching these people be loved, I was being loved in itself. And
Wow.
it's a very distorted way of thinking. That's the thing about pornography, is that it convinces you that you are the star.
Yeah.
That you are receiving what these people are receiving in a way that is so distorted.
Gosh, that's a good way to
And
say it.
so I was in these spaces where like I would watch things and then it wouldn't be enough for me, and I would be sad. I would feel empty. Or I would try to get affirmation from the boy that I liked at the time, like wanting him to, he would post like, oh, like love girls who wear black and like red, and I'd wear black and red and he still didn't want me. What?
Yeah,
And it
right.
just like, it constantly was like, I keep trying and doing and trying and doing, and it's not leading me to where I want to go.
Did you start pursuing, first off, I just want to say, like, thank you, Tega, for being so honest and brave.
Yeah.
Because that's a really vulnerable thing to share. A lot of people listening, a lot of people that are watching this may feel the shame of porn, that they've struggled with that. And for you to just go ahead and open that door and say, like, this is something that had a hold of me is just, it's really beautiful.
Which I want to say as a side note to someone who maybe is struggling with that, deep down, and I felt so dirty for so many years, but deep down, what we're all really longing for is to be wanted and for someone to say that, like, I choose you. And for so many years, I believed that, like, pornography was the way to be chosen. When really, like, it was a lie from the pit of hell that told me, like, oh, this is the way.
Yeah.
And it took so long for me to get out of it because I was ashamed of it. And when we keep things in the dark, we get to the point where, like, the light, it just looks scary.
Yeah.
And so I would say that if you're in that space right now and this is something that you're wrestling with, especially as a woman, like I feel like not a lot of women talk about it. I feel like men have finally broke the seal to be able to have that conversation.
Totally.
But I feel like for women, it's just a lot harder to admit. And so I would say that if that is you and if you're in that space, you're a lot more loved than you think you are. And the thing that you're searching for actually is on the other side of what you actually, like, what's on the screen. It's closing the laptop, it's closing the app, it's deleting it and telling someone. That's what you're actually looking for, is connection. And connection isn't on the screen, but it's with people.
Yes,
so,
good. Gosh. Were you exposed to it, or is it something you sought out when you were younger?
I was exposed to it.
You were?
At a neighbor's house.
Oh, wow.
So I was playing hide and seek with some friends. And you're like 8, 9 years old. And so, like, of course, you're just playing outside. And we were, like, playing on our Nintendo DSs and played hide and seek. And she was like, oh, let me show you something. And she had opened up her brother's laptop and showed me these videos that made, like, the moment I first saw it, I'll never forget, because, like, we were hiding out in, like, her, like, playhouse. Yeah. And I felt icky. And I felt like I felt like I knew inherently this was wrong. And yet her curiosity and my curiosity led to this, like, continuation of this pattern that I snuck around for years, thinking, like, because it was my safe space, so to speak, of, like, if I'm not getting the things I want from boys or from my parents or from school, like, I'm just going to go here because I can easily access it. Part of the issue was I had my own laptop and it wasn't even monitored. Like,
right.
And so, I found myself running to this idol, thinking it was going to serve me.
What's so, I think, profound for you to say that you were watching people seem like they were loving each other and you were feeling like you could be loved by watching it. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah. It's distorted, isn't it? Like,
no, but
it's almost like
makes sense.
It's the same thing of, like, if you're addicted to, like, rom-coms or romance books.
Right. Romance
like,
novels. There's so many people I know that are obsessed with them.
Yes.
That I almost feel like do you think it can distort your reality?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think all of it can, because when it goes from, like, pornography is always going to be distorted. It's going to be what it is. But, like, with romance novels, if you can't take it as what it is, and you start to insert yourself, and you're now feeding from it because it makes you feel better than where you're at, because going to an alternative reality makes your reality seems like less dark.
Wow.
There's an issue.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so many of us, whether your thing is pornography or romance novels or TV shows or whatever it may be, when we realize we start going to these things to feel value, to affirm what God has already said about us, but in a way that the enemy wants. Like, when we start doing that, there's an issue.
Wow.
So,
when did you disrupt the pattern and break the? Would you say it's was it an addiction?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you, and what did that look like? Hold on, we'll wait.
Yeah.
I'll ask that question again once this person goes by. Last time Topo Chico unloaded all of their delivery when we recorded.
And they didn't deliver anything in here?
No.
What in the world?
I was so bummed about that.
Yeah, I was like, I love
Give me
Topo.
some Topo Chico with some lime, please.
Yeah.
Some mineral water. We good, do you think? Okay.
There we go.
Can you share in detail, if you want, wherever you feel comfortable going? When was it that you were like, I'm not going to look at this anymore. Was there a moment? Were there many moments? Were there many mess ups to the moment of which you decided no?
Yeah.
Like, kind of, would you share that?
Yeah, I would love to say that like I just stopped on my own because I was so strong, but like that is the thing about us as humans, is that you can will things all you want, but unless you are like for me at least, like unless I was walking with Jesus in a way that wasn't just like transactional, but a true like submission, I wasn't able to stop. And so for me, it was like I got to like late high school and I was like, I know I should stop, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And I got to college and I was like, I know I should stop, because in college, that's when I started taking my faith seriously, and I still didn't stop. I became an intern at a church and I was still struggling.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was about 19. Yeah, it was 19 and a half, and started leading a group of high school girls. And I started talking to them, and one of them was like, I just feel like I struggle like with stuff and I wish I could stop, but I can't. And I remember it was like for the first time in my life, I said out loud, I struggled with pornography.
Wow.
And it's still tough. And she looked at me and she started crying, because she had never said out loud that that was the very thing that she was struggling with.
Oh.
And I remember looking at this girl who's literally like 14, 15 at the time, and I saw myself. And I was like, what would I say to myself if I was sitting in a room with someone who was like 4 or 5 years older than me?
Yeah.
Like, and I just started ministering to her, but I was also talking to myself, and I went home and I realized like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to do this anymore. I'm literally counseling her on like what it looks like to live a life that's free.
Yeah.
But I'm still in bondage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
you probably felt like a little bit of a hypocrite.
Yeah,
in a way.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about leadership, right? When you, especially when you're leading people who are younger than you, you have a new level of accountability to where like you can't do mess that you used to do, or like fall into things, because you like, whether they're in the room or not, you have people watching you.
Yeah.
And that allowed me to grow up in a way where I was like, I need to set this down.
Yeah.
And there was like a moment where like in COVID, like I was tempted to go again. And then I had to put the laptop down and leave my room. And so I would say I became, that moment that I started leading those high school girls changed everything for me. But it still is like one of those things where like, I think in COVID, it became a huge temptation. But now at this point in my life, it's not even something that I desire anymore, because my appetite has changed.
Yeah.
So
how did you change your appetite?
Yeah. I think that the only way that we can change our appetite is by not only just like stopping something, but we have to start something else.
Yeah, so true.
And so a lot of appetite changing for me is that like, one, like reading scripture was huge for me, but also it was like figuring out like, why was I going to this thing? My brain naturally works in the why, understanding human patterns, thought life, all the things. And so I realized like, oh, what are my like trigger points in this whole scenario? Oh, I want to run to that when I've been rejected, which rejection is a huge thing for all people.
Yeah.
I want to run to this when I feel alone.
Yeah.
I want to run to this when I feel unseen. Okay. Now that I know that those are 3 huge things for me, what are some healthy places I can go to when I feel alone? Okay. If I'm alone, like I probably need to reach out to community and let them know, hey, I'm feeling it's feeling a little dark right now. We gotta, can we go out for coffee? Can we do?
Yeah.
And if my community can't meet with me, because sometimes that's an excuse of like, hey, no, everyone said no. Like, I guess it's time to run back to this. It's like, what if I go to a coffee shop where there are people around me, and then I realize that like I'm surrounding myself with people. People exist. I'm okay. Or if I am dealing with rejection, it's like, okay, like it would be easy for me to then run to another source of like binge watching TV or something to feel some kind of acceptance.
Right.
But it's like, no, well, like what does it look like for me to operate my giftings, to remind myself that I've been accepted and loved and seen? So like literally I started taking up sewing like my own clothes.
I
Like,
love that.
literally, which sounds so weird, but like sewing my own clothes, or like
a hobby.
writing.
A hobby,
Yeah,
right?
a hobby.
Surrounding
like,
yourself, a hobby.
Yes. And doing something where it's like, I am good at this.
Yeah.
Like I am accepted. I'm okay. I'm fine. And even when it was like, what's the other thing I mentioned? I said rejection, being alone. What? It's like.
Rejection, being alone.
I said something else and I forgot. I like blinked and forgot.
Did you? You said rejection, being alone. You were talking about you surround yourself with people. taking
feeling
up a hobby.
unwanted or unseen, something along
That's
those
right.
lines.
Feeling,
Yes.
feeling unwanted or,
Yes.
yes.
And so I will remind myself not only that God wants me, which I think in the faith world, we can just like try to talk ourselves out of things, be like, God loves me. And then like think that that's going to like,
But it doesn't affect, I
Yes.
feel like sometimes the insides of you. If you
Yes.
believe in God, it doesn't. And if you
Right.
don't believe in God,
right. Then like,
definitely
what do you do
doesn't.
then?
Right.
And so I would say that in those moments where I felt unseen, like I had to dig into gratitude and remembering. I'm a huge journaler. And
That's awesome.
I've always documented a lot of like, I'm just a huge feeler. So I've always written down all these big feelings and emotions to process them. And I would go back to these journal entries where I felt like, man, no one sees me. I'm never going to get out of this. I hate myself, blah, blah, blah. And I would read them and I would smile because I was like, you got out of that. Like you thought that pit was going to take you out, but it was a stepping stool.
Yeah.
And so I think by practicing those things, but also having accountability, like letting people and safe people know like, hey, I'm struggling. I want to run back to this to find my identity. Help me.
Yeah.
And being honest with that, which is hard, but.
I think what's so beautiful about your story, Tega, is that you've allowed what shame can do, which is just like shrink yourself and not allow people in. Like you're just very honest.
Yeah.
With it. You're just very honest with, this is how I feel. I am tempted. I want to go to this thing.
Yes.
That you knew. So maybe, could you, I know we want to wrap things up. I want to honor your time, but like, I would love for you to share, like, there's a lot of people that don't think there's anything wrong with porn.
Yeah.
Like, and they engage in it. So would you answer maybe the question of why you think there's something wrong with it?
Yeah.
Apart from there's ethical reasons as to why.
Yeah.
And statistics.
Right. There's tons of ethical reasons and statistics, but like there are a lot of people who are like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I would say that we are all a broken people. Like we are all a deeply broken people, and we in our brokenness run to things to fix ourselves. And for the person who is listening to this or watching this and you believe like, I'm not broken, like there's nothing wrong with pornography, like it's fun and stuff like that, how do you feel after? I would ask, like, how do you feel after? And if you feel numb, there's a reason for it. If you feel even more alone, there's a reason for it. If you feel the need to run to a different universe from your own to escape your own pain, there's something going on. There's something bigger than you, a hole that's deeper than you that you're trying to claw your way out of.
Yeah.
And I would say that there's a heart in it where it's like, yeah, this is a temporary fix. But if you have to go to a temporary fix for an eternal and permanent problem, there's an issue. And so I would ask and honestly challenge you to look inward at your outward expressions of whatever you go to, whether it's, relationships or books or, school or getting affirmation for people. Like there's a reason why you go to the things that you go to. And when you understand your why, that will give you more power to understand that you actually have more power than you think to stop and to say, I'm not doing that anymore. So
That's good. I'm going to end on that. That was powerful right there.
Oh, man.
That was good.
I didn't even know we were going to go in that direction.
I know.
I was ready to ask you. I was like, so what have you seen? I was like, ready to go. But yeah.
That was so powerful, Tega.
Man.
Thank you so much for being open and honest about that's raw.
Yeah.
To say that is part of your journey and allow people to peer into it.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's an honor.
I am excited for this episode for a lot of reasons, but like I feel like with what I do now, people see me like on, stages or whatever it is that I do, and they see me as someone who's like, and I'm like, if y'all knew the backstory,
right?
The mess I used to be in, man, it's only Jesus. But
that's right.
I'm grateful.
Golly.
Thanks for having me.
Here, I was like, we're going to talk about friendships. We're going to talk about, and then
I literally had so many.
I know. We'll do a part 2.
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Are we good on time?
Yeah, 29 minutes.
29 minutes? That said 41.
It's counting down.
Oh, I can keep going then.
Oh.
that clock confused me. I was like, we're already 41 minutes in.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, okay, there we go. We're going to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think you just start with another question.
I have another question anyways, yeah. And I can segue into friendships.
Yeah.
And girlfriends.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about that. Okay, so, you mentioned like community, surrounding yourself with people, bringing people in. I feel like it's really hard to find friends to be honest with.
Yes.
That don't hold the things that you've done like against you or see you as that thing. What has that been like for you?
Man, when I say that friendships have been redeemed for me, it is a whole story in itself. So to give you a little context, growing up, I was a kid who moved around a lot. So I went to like 3 or 4 different elementary schools, 1 middle school, 2 high schools. And so friendships were never consistent, and I built walls. So it was like, yeah, like I would literally meet new friends and tell them, we're probably only going to be friends for a year. And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, yeah, we're only going to be friends for a year.
You can go ahead and cut it off.
So just know when that 9 months hits.
Yeah.
It's
the
time's ticking. I don't know about this. And so I had
it's probably self-preservation.
Absolutely.
I get that.
And I did not want to get to a place of being hurt. And so I constantly put up walls with friends. And there was always moments where like, if I saw a friend receive something, like I would grow in this resentment or bitterness towards them and just feel like I don't need to depend on anyone. Like I just got me. And I was also a kid who grew up pretty fast. And so when it came to friendships and realizing that like friendships require a level of vulnerability that I had not even had with myself, it changed everything for me. It made me aware that like, hey, in the way I was moving, in the way I was navigating friendships, I was hurting people and hurting myself.
Yeah.
And so it really wasn't until like college where I started realizing that like me putting up these walls and me holding people hostage over there was actually like isolating myself.
Yeah.
And when I started stepping into asking for help, saying, oh man, I don't have this together. I am not okay. I am not good. I had to admit that to myself before I could admit that to anyone else. And when I laid those things on the table, and some people left in that, but there were people who stayed.
Yeah.
And there were people who were like, hey, when you feel dusty, when you feel like you've gotten yourself into some mess, here's the thing, I have a shovel with you. And we're going to dig and we're going to find the good underneath. And then we're going to sit in that. And then I'm going to help you climb out of this hole because like the best of friends, and this is for anyone, how you know someone is truly there with you is they get in that hole with you for a second. And then you say, we can't stay here.
Yeah.
We can't stay here. We've got to get out. And so they help you with a plan to get out of this, and they walk with you out in the light. And so that was huge for me when I realized like, oh man, the moment that I like share my messiness with people and they don't run because they have their messiness too, like there's power and freedom in that.
Yeah.
So
what did that look like them? What does it look like a friend stepping into the hole? Does that look like texting you every day? Does that look like, give me some details of what that was for you.
So for some of my friends, it was quite literally, they would show up to my house.
Oh.
And like, that's the part, like I'm telling you, my hair wasn't done. I'm just looking,
I'm
looking like my situation.
You're looking dusty.
Right, I'm looking really dusty. And they show up and they're not phased. They just are like, and half of the time, because this is my big thing, this is how I sit with people. I would have friends, like if for anyone who is like faith-based, like the book of Job, Job's friends sat with him, but then they were like, well, this is probably why you're here. And it's like, sometimes you just need people to show up without saying a single thing.
Yeah.
And for me, it was those people who showed up and they didn't necessarily say like, okay, here's how, like, there was no like game plan we got to fix, but it was like, I'm going to sit and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to bring ice cream. We're going to watch Freaky Friday and we're going to laugh.
I love Freaky Friday. That's a good movie.
The second one is coming out this year. I'm so excited.
What?
Yes. Freaky Friday 2 this year.
Is Lindsay Lohan in it?
Yeah.
What?
And Jamie Lee Curtis. Girl,
Stop.
I'm telling you.
The whole cast.
The whole cast is going to be the best day of my life.
Anyways, continue.
And so they would show up and they would sit with me and it just would pull me out automatically because I'm like, oh man, you're not scared of like walking into something that it feels unsure. Yeah. But also would look like for the friends who didn't and couldn't show up, like they would call me or FaceTime me. But it was the sheer fact that they made an effort to step in and say, hey, I've been thinking about you, or hey, like, do you need anything? Or like, but sometimes when it came to sitting with friends, it was like, hey, your friends can't know where you are unless you tell them sometimes. Like that's the other thing. We tend to assume like, man, they didn't show up for me, blah, blah, blah. They didn't even know that you were there.
Yeah.
They didn't even know that you were struggling. And so to let your friends be aware of where you actually are, like that takes a moment of like not only being like you can't just rely on transparency. You have to step into vulnerability, and that's hard.
Yeah, it's so true.
And so I had to like ring the bell and say, hey, the house is on fire a little bit. And they would come in with water. And so
I struggle still to some degree to gain closure on when I've pushed friends away during some of my most shameful times.
Yeah.
And wishing that they would have.
Yes. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Maybe bang down the door just a little bit.
What's your experience with that?
Well, I think for me, it was when I went through the divorce. Like I've talked about just how the community, there was a lot of ripping and a lot of sides and a lot of people telling and picking sides and sharing amongst themselves what the story was.
That's
kind
hard.
of thing.
Yeah.
There were some friends though that I can look back now from like more of a, at the time I felt complete victim, but now I can look back and go, I could see that they tried. Could they have tried harder? When I see other friends that have, but then maybe it's made room.
Yeah.
Like pushing those people away did make room for the ones that really were maybe the best to step into the space because they knew what to say and how to like help me with some of the stuff that I was going through that was shameful and I was embarrassed. And but I love what you said, because it's like sitting with your friend, not telling them what they should do.
Yeah.
Oftentimes my headspace is already telling me what I should do.
Yes. Yes.
I was giving somebody advice that they're walking their daughter through a divorce, and she's like, I don't know what to say to her. She's very tender right now. And I said, just don't should her. She's being shoulded on all over the place by what the church thinks you should do.
Right.
What friends think you should do.
Yeah.
What she thinks she should do. The safe space that she can find is you not saying she should do anything.
Yeah.
And just be and just sit.
Yeah. Erin, that's so good. One, I'm so sorry that you walked through that, because I get the tension of like, they could have tried harder. They could have made more effort. And then you start to question, you go down the rabbit hole of like, am I worth it to them?
Yeah.
Am I worth them pushing into the space?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like I've always believed that like, that is just, perhaps they were just making room for other people to step in.
Yeah, exactly.
Because some people are not sure of themselves as a friend, but I've learned honestly, as recently, of like what it looks like to be a relentless friend. Of to be able to like, if this friendship ends, I can sleep at night knowing that I tried, that I didn't go half, but I wholly and fully loved them. Which means like I go into the mess. It means that I'm consistent. I'm persistent. And even if they give me like the hand and they're like, hey, don't talk to me. I'm not doing this with you, this, that, and the third. Can I say that I tried?
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, with friendships like that, because I've had friendships end over like, I was in my pit and it didn't seem like they wanted to come in and help and all the things. And being able to sit and recognize like, okay, if they tried their hardest, that was probably their hardest.
I was about to ask you, do you feel like you held any unforgiveness towards them?
There was a season where I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There was a season where I did, where I felt like every time I remembered, I would just like be up in arms again. I could feel it in my heart.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I was like, man, my mind is holding me captive. Like if I can't look at the past and pull something to learn from it, but it puts me back in that box again.
Yeah.
I've not healed, not doing well. Counseling helped a lot in that.
Really?
Counseling helped a lot in that of like, one, like we hear it all the time, like forgiveness is not necessarily for them, but it's for you.
Yeah.
It's one thing to hear that. It's another thing to realize that like every time I look back on, the person who left me or the person who didn't blah, blah, blah. And like, if I start to feel up in arms again, like that means that this is not like a scar. This is a wound. This wound is open. I'm putting alcohol in this thing every time I think about it.
Yeah.
But it's like, I have to do the deep work to close this thing up so that this scar heals over well.
That's good.
And for me, a lot of that deep work was like, I need to step out of my own self when I think about this situation. I also need to think about it from their perspective. What were they walking through? What were they dealing with? Like, why is it that like I feel like I've put myself in this victim like space and said like everyone's attacking me, they're against me, this, that, and the third. It's like, no, life.
Yeah.
Life is hard. Everyone's going through it. Like it's okay.
What are some like practical things that you did or that somebody can do? I was talking with somebody the other day about how they have a lot of hurt from some community and it's been years ago.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like that same pain is still right there. And I was sharing from just my own experience of letting go, forgiving. Like, you're right. If you don't forgive, you will ultimately take that resentment, that bitterness, and that pain into other friendships.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've kept in arms with a lot of my friends because of trust.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like, I'm like, can I trust them to stay?
Yes.
So I've done this a lot.
Oh,
and
listen, I get it.
that forgiveness is so important.
Yeah.
To forgive somebody that doesn't give an apology.
Oh.
in some of your darkest times is so stinking hard. It's so hard. But like I've done things like written letters or I've thought through the lens of like, but then sometimes I shame myself because I'm like, well, of course they felt that way because you were this way, Aaron. And then I've rationalized it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone through the whole cycles of all of it and I still, but for that friend, I was kind of struggling with practical things other than like the typical therapy and write letters. But maybe that's all you need to do. I don't know. Is there anything
I feel
else?
like that's a huge like component of it, of like writing letters and being able to get things out. Because, resentment and bitterness is poison. So if it stays in your system and it doesn't get out somehow, some way, it will destroy the entire body. And so
true.
I think that, yes, getting it out in writing is one thing. But it's another thing I have learned for myself, I have to get to the root of things to really have an understanding.
Yeah.
And so, for that situation or even any other situation where you've had community really, really hurt you and it's hard to like release that, I would ask the question of like, what am I believing about this person?
Yeah.
Like when they didn't show up, when they didn't do X, Y, and Z, what did it remind me of? Because it's that instance is more than likely not the first time she or he has experienced like being abandoned or being hurt in that way.
Betrayed.
Yeah, betrayed. It's another instance. It's a reminder of X. So really what's happening is that X hasn't been healed. This is just something it just poked the bear.
Oof.
And so it's now figuring out, oh man, like this is just now compounding. And this was the thing that really made me feel the weight of like all the times that I've never forgiven people. And so understanding it and getting like, it's going to be hard heart work of getting down to the very first time you ever felt like someone betrayed you and what that did to you. And then the systems you created to navigate betrayal. And then when you realize that, then you start doing the hard work of like, okay, I've done this method before and it's helped me. If I do a voice memo, not like a something I sent to them, it's not.
Yeah.
But like I will
hide
record,
it, lock it.
Yeah. Like I will record an audio letter of like if I were to talk to them face to face, because writing things down is one thing, but we live in a generation where people don't even read anymore. So if I record a voice memo as if I was talking to them, what would I say? If I knew I had the power to say what I really felt, what would I say?
That's good.
And I don't say it so that they can say something back and grovel and say, I'm so sorry, I can't believe I did that. But I say it because then I have power over my words.
Yeah.
I have power over my thoughts, over my insides. It reminds me that like I have a lot more power than I realize.
That's good.
And so I will record a voice like memo and I will say, dear blah, blah, blah. I am holding on to the fact that a few years ago I went through this and you weren't there. Or you were there, but like the way you showed up did not help me. And I like will literally say these things out loud. Once I finish that, I get that done. then the next step is like, for me, it's prayer of like, God, like, do I need to speak to this person? Like, is that going to be the thing that like helps me release this? Or was it simply just for me to release to you, or just like say it out loud?
Yeah.
I think that is really, really helpful. But like, I really do think it starts with the heart work of the awareness of knowing that this situation that's really hurting you right now is actually not the first one.
Yeah.
There's something from your childhood.
Yeah.
There's childhood you is now experiencing the same thing it did before. And childhood you has to heal so that adult you can thrive. So.
Woo! That's so good. That is so true.
Oh man, listen,
That's
it's
so hard to do.
I feel like I've learned a lot and I'm 26 going on 27. But I feel like in my 20s I've gone through some stuff. And so I'm not like saying all of these things as like, this is just all you got to do. It's like, I've had to practice things so that I don't fall into depression again.
Yeah.
I've had to practice things so that I can keep my mind on, because
Yeah.
I think so much and overthink so much.
Yep.
And have found myself like wanting to push people and things away. But life is so much more. I get it. The world is dark, but there's also so much light. So.
You know, John Deloney says, and this has helped me, he said, grief needs a witness.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that
That's good.
when you were sharing, like, when you record a voice memo, I think oftentimes it's not necessarily that we even need to be seen by somebody else as much as we need to be seen from ourselves.
Yeah.
And validate the pain, because we may
Yes.
be negotiating or talking ourselves out or
Yeah.
rationalizing why somebody left or why friends treated us this way in our messiest times, or we start to go, well, I deserved it, or, you know, they're awful, or we
Yeah.
rationalize it so much so we're not a witness to our own grief.
Yeah. What kind of household did you grow up in? Because I know some people, they grew up in a household where like when it comes to pain and stuff you experience, you keep it all inside, and then like some people implode.
Yeah.
And some people explode. So like where do you fall in the...
Matt could probably answer that. I would say that I grew up in a household where like conflict and feelings was everybody knew. Everybody knew your business, and everybody knew everything
Yeah.
about how you felt about everything.
Wow.
Now, did we know how to handle and care for the things we knew about? I would say probably not. But we weren't a household that we like swept things under the rug and like nobody talked about it. It was like everybody just knew each other's business.
Yeah.
And the way that they knew is by gossiping. And so I think that time in my life where everybody knew everything in my community reminded me, as you're sharing this and like realizing, it's like it reminded me of times when I was a little girl and my sisters would gossip about me of something, and there'd be fights and triangulation and all, but you know, we didn't have words to it then. It was, but yeah, the household I grew up in was very, we were very vocal. However, I always felt, and I say this carefully because my parents, I really don't believe they ever put this on me. This was like something I put on myself.
Yeah.
As the youngest, I observed a household where if there was a lot of conflict, maybe there was a sibling that was very conflict and what's the word? I don't want to say sensitive. Explosive.
Yeah.
So we had a sibling that was very explosive, that I kind of just told myself as a little girl that I need to make sure everybody's okay. And so performing was very familiar to me. I mean, I was singing on karaoke machines. Kiss from a Rose on the Grave by Seal when I was like 6 years old. Kiss from a Rose. And my sisters, I'd be like, everybody come in. Come in, everybody. I have a performance for you. I'm going to sing Seal. So performing was kind of something I always did as a little girl, but I just kind of told myself, make sure everybody feels okay. Make sure that like you don't make anybody feel bad. And I carried that into friendships where it was like, if there was conflict within friendships, it was like, oh no, like our whole friendship is going to fall apart. I hold the friendships I have that I've had for 15, 16, 20 years, I'm like, wow. It's so cool I can say that I have friends that, because if you look at my performance and some of my childhood, you would see that I would probably run away from conflict, even though conflict was so prevalent in our home.
And I think that's so pivotal to how we navigate conflict and friendships and community and all the things, because you got to know your fight or flight patterns.
Yeah.
You need to understand, like, what was my default as a kid? That if I wanted safety, I wanted peace in the home, I wanted things to be stabilized.
Yeah.
Like, I formed systems and things that I did to make sure that I was protected, but that the people around me seemed protected.
Yeah.
And then you carry that into adulthood. And so when you have a situation where there's conflict, where you've been betrayed by a friend and it feels like things are rocky, you will go back to your default unless something changes.
So true.
And so then you have to then realize, like, okay, as a kid, this was great. This was smart. My brain came up with a great idea to protect me as a child. But now I'm an adult. And now I have control. Now I have more words to say. Now I have more resources in front of me. So how do I now navigate this differently? It's a rewiring and a restructuring that takes time, but it's not just like time heals all things. It's intentionality plus time.
Yeah.
And that's
good.
how we break out of some of the patterns that we formed as children. I feel like, I'm learning this literally every single day.
Yeah.
Of, oh, I did this because childhood Tega adopted this, because this is what kept her safe, and it was a great mechanism. So we can't, be like, I was just a kid, I was dumb. Like, it's like, no, you were trying to help yourself, right? You're like, if you look at a kid now and look at some of the stuff that they do, you realize, like, no, they're kids, and they're just trying to adapt to the world that is crazy.
Yeah.
But as adults now, we have a lot more control.
That's good.
And we can do more things than we thought. So,
what would you say to somebody that's listening, that's really struggling, and they may not believe in God, or they may, but somebody that's really struggling with maybe something that they've kind of kept secret, and they don't really know how to have community. Maybe they have a friend here and a friend here and a friend here, and they're just trying to figure out what their worth is. Maybe they don't even know if they have it, or maybe they're numb to it. I don't know. What would you say to somebody that's going through life right now and just feeling the weight of lots of different things?
Yeah.
With not a lot of support.
That's a good question. I would say, and start with the fact that as a kid, I loved hide and seek. Loved hide and seek. It's my favorite game. And I think it was partially because when it came to hiding and being in a dark or isolated spot, it was fun. But it was only fun because someone was set out to find you. But when you're hiding and no one is set, like it seems like no one is set out to find you. It feels like you're just like in this like corner, you're crouched down, you're uncomfortable. Like, you start to realize and sit in the pain of like you start to just go down rabbit holes. And so I would say, for the person who's listening or watching to this, and you are hiding and you feel like you're in this darkness, you're in a hole, and it feels like you cannot get out, there's always a way. I would say I want to encourage you to do the hardest thing. It feels hard right now. So like getting out of bed in the morning, it feels like the hardest thing. But once you do it, you realize that this led me to more than what I realized. I need you to pause this right now and send the text. I need you to make the call. I need you to do it. And it will be easy for you to convince yourself of the lie that they don't care. They're not there. They don't want, like, I'm too much. Like, your brain will come up with all kinds of narratives that kept you tucked into this hole that you're currently in. But I need you to push past your own thoughts, because your thoughts are lying to you. And I need you to make the step and to text them or call them. And then I need you to go outside. I need you to go outside. Why? Because when you are hiding and when you're in the hole, it will be easier to stay in your room or stay in that place of comfort where you literally find your, safe space. But when you go outside and you realize that like the sun is out, or if it's raining, it's raining. There are people who are going on walks. I need you to identify 5 things that you see outside. And I need you to use that as a reminder that life is still moving, even when it feels like your world is shattered and there's no hope and no one sees you and no one cares. I get it. I promise you. If there was time, I would have talked about all the things in the world of the stuff I've oh, there goes a train. Praise. All the things I've gone through in these years of my life. But I will tell you that there's so much more. Make the call. Step out of your space. Breathe. It'll be okay. So that's what I'd say.
That was good. We're going to end on that.
Perfect.
That feels good.
Awesome.
Do you have any follow-up questions or anything that we need to, loose ends that you heard that we need to tighten up? Tega, that was awesome.
Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Just for safety's sake, I might do like a little wrap up of like, Tega, thank you so much for being
Okay.
here. Something like that.
Okay.
Awesome.
But that's just, everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Tega, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for just...
I hope I didn't bring the party down too much.
Girl, no, this is what this is for. It's for honest
man.
conversations.
Yeah.
It's pulling back the curtain. It's talking about the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lighthearted podcasts that people can go listen to. And while we have some of that in here, like today was necessary and needed. And I'm just so grateful for your bravery and honesty. And like my friend Terrence said the other day, he said, people love the redemption story, but nobody likes to talk about the process and what you're being redeemed from.
Yeah.
And you just sharing just the nitty gritty of it. I'm just really, really grateful.
Thanks for having me, Erin. This is so fun.
Mwah. Yay!
Awesome.
Yay!
Man.